Raven fans, Oriole fans, welcome this week to the Ravery Sports Podcast for fans like me. Like and subscribe to all of our social media content that we are giving out this week. So if you're watching this live, you're watching this on our YouTube page, our X page, and our Twitch channel. So thank you very much. We also upload these every week on Facebook as well and on our Rumble. So the full podcast is entirety all on all those 5 platforms. Definitely you can check us out every week. Every week we do uploads on YouTube Shorts. We definitely do that, and Instagram as well. We also do reels on Facebook as well. So definitely you can catch all of our like that. If you're not going to do the whole long form content, we have that available for you as well. So definitely you can check that out. We have all of our social media platforms. You can get hats like this, jerseys like this, raverysports.company.site. So definitely check that out as well. Also, before this week as well, we're starting it now. Mention Facebook. You can go ahead. Facebook Marketplace. We do have some merchandise there now as well. So definitely like that. Some people have been clicking on and asking. Maybe it's not as far, so you go to Rave Sports page. You go to Facebook Marketplace as well. Just go ahead, put in my name, Charles Harris, or Ravery Sports, and you can go to the Facebook Marketplace now and get merchandise there as well. Definitely other stuff we're doing. Genesis Notary Services /Facebook.com. So definitely check that out as well. Definitely Genesis Notary Services serving the whole Shenandoah Valley, stamping those documents with care. So we'll be happy to do it if you live in the Shenandoah Valley area. We're selling Legal Shield. See Charles Harris. We are LegalShield.com. The fastest way to go ahead and reach us is on our Facebook page. Harris Legal Shield. Go ahead and do that. Also put in Harris Legal Shield, Winchester, Virginia on Google. Definitely, if you're looking for great value, legal fees are very expensive. We're in very tough times economically. A lot of people are right now. So definitely Harris Legal Shield. Definitely check that out. And we got a men's basketball season coming. Ravery Sports. We're going to do our men's basketball preview October 28th. So definitely check that out as well. The Sunday night before not exactly the Sunday night before, but the week before the season starts, we're going to go ahead and put that out there. 2 instant reactions on Sunday as well. End of the baseball season. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Orioles and the Twins game after that ends on Sunday. Talk about, we will know at that point who the Orioles are going to be playing in the playoffs. So we'll be happy to talking about that. And also to our usual every Sunday night instant reaction to the Sunday night football game. A lot of stuff on Sunday. Happy to go over it. Let's talk football. Get down to the business of it. We had a game. Look, some of y'all aren't happy with the win. I understand that. I know. I get it. Wasn't pretty. Look, take it. Take it. Take it. We're not used to being 0-2, but we're 0-2. Now we're 1-2. Take the victory. The Squeals have been piling up ugly wins like that. We can certainly get one. Got to understand, close it down at the end. Close it down. I know that's an issue, but we got to go ahead and take the win. What happened in this game? Lamar, 12 of 15, 182, 1 TD. I don't think that's right. I think he did have, I'm going to fact check that out. He didn't have the one pick. I think it was clean. He didn't have one pick. He had one pick in the previous game. So he had 1 TD in this one as well, and 87 yards on the ground. So a good game, I thought, overall for Lamar Jackson. I thought he was they ran the ball like they should have. The Cowboys did not have a very good run defense, so they ran it a lot. This guy, this is exactly how you do it. 25 carries, 151, 1 TD. That looked like the Derrick Henry we've all been waiting for. And this one, what did they do in this one? Ran the ball on the left side. It's almost like they were listening to the podcast last week. Ran the ball on the left side. Don't try and run on the right side. The right side's horrible. So run the ball on the left side. That's exactly what they did a lot in this one. Give the ball to Derrick Henry. You got to adjust for a Derrick Henry and use him like this. I think they kind of smelled it up, the music. It took them a couple of weeks to do that. I don't expect this every week, but certainly this was a good strategy. Think about it. The Cowboys had no interest in Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry might have actually won it. I think he might have actually preferred to play in Dallas. We never know. They never called him. But Derrick Henry made him pay for it on Sunday, 151. Not much in the air. One catch by Nelson Aguilar was sensational. Terrible angle by the Cowboy defender. Aguilar breaks it for 56 yards. I think that was the longest. I don't think that was a touchdown. I'm sorry. So I don't think that was a touchdown, but that was the longest run of the day. Matter of fact, I changed that one as well. So 156. One catch for 56. So good job by the Ravens there, getting that there as well. I thought, not much. They ran it the whole game. Basically, they ran it on they ran the ball the whole game. Nothing really from Zay Flowers. I think he had 3 catches. I don't think Mark Andrews had one target the whole game. Didn't get that into the 4th. So that was odd. I think what you're seeing, the issue you're having, that right side was so bad that this is what they did. They gave help on that side or whatever, and Andrews never really got in the flow or whatever. I don't think he's all the way right. I mean, people keep trying to tell me he is. He doesn't look right to me. He looks a little off here so far. Colin Van Oy, 1 sack in this game. Van Oy and Dafiole have been fantastic. So worried so long for so many years about the pass rush. Ravens are finally getting pass rush from those outside linebackers, those edge rushers. They've been very good. I would say some of it is they're getting so much attention inside. Matabuke, Travis Jones, and Pierce get so much attention. I mean, they're putting 3 guys on Matabuke as you need to go ahead and do that. So I understand that, and these guys are taking advantage. They're getting home. They're taking advantage of the space, and they're actually getting sacks as well in this one. I thought the defense was very good for 3 quarters in this one. I thought most of it. I think more of it is on Zach Orr, the coaching staff. Frankly, seen this too many times. He even said it in the presser. Well, maybe we're a little bit too conservative. Everybody was talking about the offense. I'm talking about the defense. They were stuffing him pretty much all day. Brandon Stevens, I thought, was his best game all season. Marlon Humphrey's been playing well. I thought the secondary was much, much better. That absolutely looked more like Kyle Hamilton in this game as opposed to any other game we've had all season long. So I thought they did much better as a whole in this game as well. But in the 4th quarter, conservative, prevent, backing off, lots of soft zone, whatever, and it allowed them to inch back in. And this is why you're blowing leads. It's not the conservatism on offense. I mean, that's some of that. That's true. You got to execute, you got to score. But I think it's the conservative nature of the defense. You're allowing, then your guys get tired, et cetera, et cetera. This is why you're blowing leads. You're not aggressive enough on defense late in the game. Now, look at these stat line by Prescott, kind of proving my point. 28 for 51, 379, and 2 TDs. Ravens last in the league in passing. A lot of that was the 4th quarter stuff that I just talked about. A lot of the day, Prescott was fairly contained. He didn't have a lot of big plays, but a lot of that was late. He scored a lot of yards, et cetera, et cetera. Ravens didn't do well at the end. Got to tighten up. You were doing so well for 3 quarters. It wasn't just you're tired at the end of the game. People keep saying it's not just you're tired at the end of the game. You're not being aggressive. You're stuffing them all day. Keep stuffing them, right? That's what you want to do. Good day. Prescott's pretty good. No run game at all from the Cowboys. Rico Dale, 8 carries for 32 yards. Zeke Elliott was also there. I think no run game for the Cowboys. Definitely a weakness. We thought it might be. They didn't run the ball. Definitely Ravens D-line was getting a lot of penetration. I already mentioned how good Matabuke how much pressure Matabuke, Travis Jones, and those guys have been getting. Weak Cowboy run game. We haven't seen much teams run the ball. Ravens, number 1 in the NFL with run game. They have 50 yards. NFL teams that are playing the Ravens are only getting 50 yards on the ground. Part of why, part of the problem they're having in the air, teams aren't getting anything on the ground, so they're throwing more. So as well, Jake Ferguson had the most yards, I believe, in the air for the Cowboys. I think he had like 50, I think it was like 60 yards. I know like this, but 4 for 67 for CeeDee Lamb. I think that was a pretty good day for him. It's fairly contained, fairly contained. I think some people were, I thought some people were mad that Nate Wiggins was on him a little bit. They kind of switch off. They don't really leave one guy on one guy the whole game. So they had Nate Wiggins on them. Some I thought Brandon Stevens was on there. Some Marlon Humphrey was some. I think they did just fine in man to man. I don't know why we're seeing all this on. I thought I saw the man to man, and I thought this was very good. You got a good quarterback, good wide receiver. I thought they did very well when they're going against man to man. This guy was fairly contained. Micah Parsons, 4 tackles. I thought Parsons would have a big game against that against the struggling left side of the Ravens that they have, Daniel Falele and Pat McCary. So I thought that was an area that I was really concerned about. Ravens actually did very well. They kind of stayed away from him, right? They actually held it on the left side. They ran all that stuff to the left side. They actually put 3 guys on Parsons. You saw a lot of Charlie Kolar in their blocking. You saw a lot of Pat Card in their blocking. I think that contributed to the fact that they didn't have receiver. I don't know if the Ravens played 3 wides the whole game. So they really made an effort on Parsons, and Parsons really was fairly contained in this one. So he didn't have a game where he went crazy. So the Ravens 28-25 over the Dallas Cowboys. Couple things. The right side of the line isn't any better. Okay, so let's get that out the way right now. I'm seeing. I saw too many places where no, they were much. No, they weren't. No, they weren't. I think they're. I'm surmising that a couple years ago we saw at the linebacker we had Patrick Queen at the Mike linebacker with Malik Harrison, and it didn't go so well, right? So what they did was wasn't going well, and so what they did was they put Harrison on the bench, put Pat Queen at the other linebacker, and put Josh Burns at the Mike, right? And that worked much better. Okay. And then eventually they got Roquan Smith, etc. So what am I talking about with the line? I'm pretty sure Falele feels more comfortable with McCary. That's why he's playing. That's got to be what it is. Him and Rosengarten not playing well together. And I think that's why we're seeing more McCary. Also, Rosengarten is more of a zone blocker. So, like, if they play zone all the time, and in this one, you saw a lot less of that. The more straight ahead stuff, more in a Falele skill set. I think that's the reasons for it as well. And he's just being stubborn again. As well. This is what they're gonna rock with until otherwise. So this is your starting linebacker. So they're gonna get a 4th start there this week. And the toughest game of the season, I think, so far. Buffalo, I think, has been looked better than any team in the league. So this is going to be a tough challenge. The blackout is going to happen Sunday night game. Definitely get a black Ravens jersey at RavenResports.company.site for the game Sunday. You can go ahead and get that. And so Bills have looked really good, I think. This is going to be a tough challenge. I do think the Ravens match up in some areas really good with Buffalo. Lamar, 708 yards, 3 TDs, 1 interception. He did have the 1 interception in the game with Bateman. I think Lamar's been sensational. I think the circumstances that he's been put in, the way he has played, I'm very happy with Lamar. I think he's shown more leadership. He's kind of like, no, hop, get off the phone. If you saw the video, telling Marlon Humphrey Instagram video, hey man, you shouldn't be filming on here. Not happy after a win, even after they won. Very focused. Love to see that as well. Lamar is definitely developing into the leadership role of the team. Outstanding stuff. Derrick Henry looked exactly what It was as advertised in this one. 56 carries, 281 for the year, 4 TDs. That's what it looks like last week. I think you gotta. To me, I think it's pretty simple to go ahead, and that's the formula. I will say this is not the Dallas Cowboys they're playing this week with a Derrick Henry in that formula. This is a much better defensive line, probably one of the better defensive lines end to end in the league when you're talking about the Bills. But run the football, run the football, run it on that left side. You eventually at some point you got to run it on the right side, but that's definitely what you want to do. Run the ball, Derrick Henry. Flowers kind of got lost in this one. In the last one, 16 carries total, 285, 1 TD for the season for Zay. Uh, I'm sure he's getting a little frustrated. I mean, this Ravens receivers are frequently frustrated as well. They're not running three wides. They're going to run the ball a lot. Lamar's going to run the ball a lot. So understandable. I got no problem with Zay here so far. Little worried about Andrews, if anything, because they're just not looking for him. I mean, they're just not looking for him. And plus, again, they need so much blocking help up front. It's hard to get him in the rhythm. I'd like to see Zay Flowers and Andrews get packages for them early before you start running the football, get them in the flow. I think that'll help. Kyle Van Noy, 4 sacks, has been outstanding this year. Him and Oway as well. I'm still surprised he's on the field after that injury the first week. He's got a orbital injury. Back of your eye is injured. The fact that he's out there at all playing, that's incredible, and playing well, having a good season, getting a lot of attention. Like I mentioned, defensive line is getting a lot of attention. Van Noy is taking advantage of it. Adapo, etc., is taking advantage of it. They're playing well here. 4 sacks, great start for them. Josh Allen might be the MVP of the league here so far. 634 yards, 7 TDs, no interceptions. That's the thing. The Bills' offense, if you haven't seen them this year, is going to look a little different than it's been. Bills' offense, they had for so long, they had Stephon Diggs. They threw a lot of downfield stuff as well. This is going to be more traditional. They are running the ball more. James Cook, 41 carries, 188, 3 touchdowns as well. They're going to run the ball a lot. I think this is kind of their strength now. So a lot of that firepower they had on the outside, they don't have it anymore. So they're kind of running more traditional. You're seeing Josh Allen runs more. Josh Allen always did run a lot, but it's not just him. James Cook is a big part of their offense. I think he's probably their most effective offensive player outside of Josh Allen. Big load, definitely a good challenge for a good Ravens offensive defensive line. They haven't really had that yet. They haven't seen a ball carrier to this level yet, right? You have great numbers. You've only been giving up 50 yards a game, but you haven't played a guy like this yet as well. So the receivers are gone. Stephon Diggs is now in Houston. Dalton Kincaid, I think, is probably the guy that you need to watch the most in Buffalo. He 8 receptions, 885, 1 TD as well. They got young Keon Coleman in the draft, Curtis Samuel. These guys are not even the leading receivers. So they are a work in progress on offense. I do think this is a good matchup for our corners as well. Being aggressive. Want Zach Orr to have them aggressive in the game, right? Match them up. Line up Marlon Humphrey, Marcus Williams, Kyle Hamilton, Nate Wiggins. Line them up, match them up. Do that. Absolutely do that in this game. They have the firepower. You got a bunch of young receivers, not a lot of A-plus receivers. Match them up, be physical down the field. Force them in the run game. You have and see how that goes. See if you can line up at the line of scrimmage as well. I was wrong. I got to admit, I was wrong about Buffalo's defense. Von Miller looks like Von Miller. Last year, he was a healthy scratch, didn't play well at all after his injury, questioning whether he had to take a pay cut, whether to stay back. This is the Von Miller we've known for all of his career, all those years in Denver, etc. So Von Miller is back. Not just Von Miller, Greg Rousseau is there, and Oliver, I think, is one of the most underrated player in the league. They're still missing Matt Milano AJ Presenza is there as well for them. They did have to replace those two great safeties. DeMar Hamlin, despite all the talk last year with his injury as well, surprisingly won the safety job. He looks fantastic at safety. So their defense is also strong as well. They haven't played exceptionally well, in my opinion, but I think definitely the talent is there as well, and they're scoring a lot of points. So I definitely think that is going to be a factor in the game. Buffalo's defense is really good. So definitely it'd be a challenge there, strength on strength at the line of scrimmage. This game absolutely is going to be one at the line of scrimmage. X factor. Bateman, let's see if they can get the receiver him more involved. Well, as well. You know they want to go to Andrews and you want to have Andrews and say Flowers involved. I always think the more you get Bateman involved, the more yards you're going to get in the pass game. Let's see the strategy here as well. Let's put an X also on Marcus Williams. Marcus, a little better last game. Marcus doing a little better in this last game. They're going to need him. This is a good opportunity for Marcus playing against an experienced group of receivers here as well. You know they're going to do the thing with Kyle Hamilton. Good opportunity for Marcus to play center field. I think the Ravens do squeak this one out 27-24. I don't think the Bills' offense is going to be as potent against the Ravens' defense in this one. I don't. I think you can contain the run as good as James Cook is, but the game here is going to be won at the line of scrimmage. If they can actually control what's happening at the line of scrimmage, and I think they will, I think they can go ahead and beat Buffalo. Bigger concern is an offensive line on their right side against that outstanding front of Denver, but I think they're going to scheme that up. You're going to see a lot like what you see last week, a lot more Ricard, a lot more Kolar, Justice Hill, likely stuff quick out of the backfield. 27-24. Ravens also to absolutely more sense of urgency. I mean, they won last week, but they're 1-2. You don't want to go 1-3 even in this division. There you go. So definitely check out the game on Sunday night. Big time game for the Ravens. Look, couple losses here in the division. Bengals, I don't know what's going on. They've lost 3 in a row. Steelers, this is a bad 3-0 team. I don't want to be unfair. Not a bad 3-0 team, but it certainly doesn't look good. They actually like Justin Fields. I don't understand. Justin Fields has way too many negative plays for me. So, but we'll see that as well. So definitely check out the game on Sunday. Big 5. So 5 biggest games on the schedule this weekend that are not Ravens game. Obviously the Ravens game is going to be one of the biggest games on the schedule. Last week, what do we see? Big 5. The Chargers, I think, lost to the Squealers. 2 teams that are very similar. Chargers do not have, I think, the depth of roster. They lost some injuries. Herbert went limping out the game. I don't know if he's going to play this week as well. We will see as well. Lost some injuries. I think Derwin James has gotten himself suspended. So the little depth of roster. I wasn't impressed with Pittsburgh though. I mean, defensively they're really good, but offensive, I don't see it. I mean, they're. I don't think they're the good news is I don't think they're going to go against a lot of good offenses, but a team with good offense, if they can get some offense on them, they're not going to score enough points. I don't think. But Jacksonville's got real problems. Trevor Lawrence is clearly regressing. That was really bad against Buffalo. They're 0-3. I think they're having some problems protecting, but that was bad. I think Buffalo was totally dominant in that game there. Chefs won again, another close win. Atlanta, I'm not too down on again. I don't think this year is their year, but I think they're kind of getting there. They'll win some games, but the Chefs, they just seem to know how to win these games. I think the Rams probably had a season-saving win as well. I think that was probably why when you could win a game like that, especially with all the injuries you have, you got no receivers. I think the defense is kind of is what it is. They kind of like find a way on defense, even though they don't have a lot of no names, whatever. So Rams kind of actually go ahead and find their way as well. And Seattle, I think, really did their business against Miami. Miami with all types of problems. They're going to be starting Tyler Huntley, I think, going forward. Yeah, yeah. So that's interesting there. The Saints and the Falcons. So the Falcons now, I think, are at 1-2. I think the Saints are 2-1, even though they lost last week. Saints, I think, have been scoring a lot of points the first few weeks. They had some injuries now, though. They got Eric McCoy on the front that is injured. They're really good center. Their offensive line has a lot of issues. Kamara has been struggling, I think, a little bit more. David Carr's been really good. Derek Carr's been really good. I think Derek Carr, I think, should be, in my opinion, a top 10 quarterback, but for some reason, he's just not consistent enough to do that. Defensively, I think they're still pretty good. The Falcons, I think, are getting there, and I think they win this game. I think they're going to win some of these games. I think Cousins, they really played a close game against the Chefs. I think the talent is really there. I really like their group of safeties. Justin Simmons and Jesse Bates, I think, is a really good duo there as well. Their pass rush, their defense, they're getting there. I think they might sneak into the playoffs, and I think they win this game. I think big division game. I think I like the Falcons in there. Probably the biggest surprise in the league here so far, the Vikings, and they go into Green Bay against the Packers. I'm not sure if Jordan Love is playing this game or not. They have done very well with Malik Willis at the helm. I'm going to say this. Matt LaFleur, the job he's done has been very, very impressive when you talk about a Matt LaFleur. He's down. I'm putting now in the category with him where his offenses put up points no matter who's under center, who the trigger is, kind of like a Andy Reid or Bill Walsh or Mike Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan. I was seeing that he's getting his offenses are getting production regardless of the circumstances. So that's a big thing as well. It's hard to not appreciate what the Vikings have done here so far. Sam Darnold has been outstanding at the start as well. Their defense has been good. Their defense, they're getting a lot of sacks. Their pass rush has been good. I think that was what was lacking for them last year when they lost Mike Zimmer as head coach. They're really getting home on defense. So interesting to see if they can keep that up. I don't think offensively they're going to continue to score this many points. I know. I definitely like the Packers in Green Bay. That's always a safe bet. I think Lambeau, is probably, it's not quite cold yet there, but I think that's one of the toughest play. Pretty close matchup, and I think I'm going to say Green Bay at home should win. Eagles and the Bucks. You know what? These two teams are more similar than what you think they are, than what people think they are. I think there's a lot of similarities with these two teams. Eagles are what they are. Their offensive team, I think they have a lot of good pieces on offense. They're not going to have A.J. Brown, so it definitely looked different without him. They can win without him. I mean, they have a lot of good other stuff there. Devontae Smith is still there. Saquon Barkley is outstanding. I think their offensive line is good. But the Eagles kind of know what they are on offense. Defensively, they still have a ways to go as well. Their front is not as good as it should be. Jalen Carter's kind of acting silly on the sideline. Jordan Davis and then they got to get moving. Secondary is still kind of young as well. Bucks, they're actually not that different. They're actually, believe it or not that different. Kind of a good offensive team that's physical on offense, and they kind of score. They definitely score points. Pretty impressive beating Detroit last week. Pretty impressive. I think the Eagles have a better team by the hair. I think it'll be very, very close. I wouldn't bet money on this game, but I'm definitely taking the Eagles. I think the Eagles won by like a field goal here. as well. I think they also too seem to have a knack to win these close games. So that's why I like the Eagles in this one. The Chefs against the Chargers last week. This week, I think the Chargers. This is a big division game. The first time that Jim Harbaugh is going to see the Chefs here, so definitely keep that in mind watching this game. First time Jim Harbaugh, massive coaching upgrade as well last week. I don't think the Chefs look bad. I don't think the Chargers looked that bad in the loss last week. Honestly, I I don't think they looked that bad in the loss last week. Honestly, I think they played a good team. I don't know if Herbert is going to play in this one. I know he's trying to play. His injury is serious. I don't know if he makes it through the whole season as well. They're definitely going to need Herbert to win. I like the Chargers for what they are, though. Um, I think the Chargers are the Ravens West. They know exactly what they are. J.K. Dobbins off to a great start. Line is actually blocking for them very well. Defensively, they're much better, even than I could have Derrick James. Have some injuries. That's a concern. I think I'd actually pick the Chargers in this one had it not been for that. But I don't know if you're going to beat the Chefs without Justin Herbert. I would say this. Chefs have not looked great despite 3 wins. They've kind of had 3 very close wins, like very close to the vest here. So I think they maybe do lose one, but I don't think the Chargers have enough firepower to beat them. I think this might be the best game of the weekend here when you got the Seahawks 3-0 against the Lions that are 2-1. I think the Seahawks have been terrific here so far. That defense looks a lot better. Kind of like we talked about the massive coaching upgrade in San Diego, the massive coaching upgrade in Los Angeles, the massive there's a big upgrade here as far as defense, as far as the Seahawks. Seahawks defense looks great. Geno Smith has been solid here at the start. I think he's looked better in the first 3 games than he did like most of last year. I thought he was solid. He completes a lot of his passes. DK Metcalf is there. They're definitely going to run the ball. There's a physicality there. This time, this is buckle your chin strap here. I think the Lions are the Lions. I think they got to do what they do. Hit people in the mouth, run the football on both sides. Aiden Hutchinson is off to a terrific start. I think they do win this game, hand the Seahawks their first loss. Although, again, very close. I like maybe 3 points. I like the Lions in this one. There you go. Big five biggest games on the that are not Raven games. So definitely check all the games out this weekend. Check what they say, your local listings for all the games. Maryland football and Villanova. Villanova, yes, has a football team. Not FCS, not a FBS team, an FCS team. What they used to call 1AA in football. 38-20, Maryland over Villanova in this one. I didn't think they looked good despite the scoreboard. I thought they looked good in the first half. This was kind of like the Ravens in the sense they were kind of dominant in the first half, dominant early, and that was enough. But Villanova kind of was going pretty toe-to-toe with them in the second half, more than they really should have been. I thought as well. They kind of like lacked aggression, lacked dominance. They kind of that was a little more competitive, and I thought it should have been as well. Billy Edwards has been fantastic all year. I thought like any concerns he had, MJ Morris is now only getting on the field in garbage time. So I thought he was good. Ty Felton has been fantastic. He's the Big Ten's leading receiver. So I think he's been excellent. The defense I thought would slip a little bit this season. It hasn't really changed much at all. I think some of the faces have changed. Dante Trader has been terrific. He's been getting picks in every game. I think now with Bo Braid with the Ravens, he has been the best defensive player in the secondary as well. Ruben Hippolyte, I thought, has been good as well. But again, they kind of let them back in the game a little bit. They kind of they didn't have a big lead. I don't want to be too negative because they won by 18 points, but I thought the Terps, when you play a team at this level, I want to see a dominant victory. Unless there are certain teams that are actually not that, like maybe like a New Hampshire, North Dakota State, that are really good. They're going to give you, but like to have seen a little bit more. This is a tougher game this week than what you might believe. So the Terps are 3-1 going against the Indiana Hoosiers. Here we go again, thinking about basketball when you're talking about Indiana. Indiana, 4-0. This is a real Indiana 4-0 Indiana team. Kurt Shigetti, I think, is the head coach. He just got hired as after the job he did last year with the JMU Dukes, winning 10 games, etc. So he gets hired on to Indiana. The phenomenal turnaround they've already had. Wherever he's been able to go ahead and turn them around as well. So this is a real team. They've been winning decisively in all of their games. I think the reason why Shigetti didn't get a better offer from a bigger school, frankly, was because he was 60 years old. I think he's 63 years old. Had he been my age, like 45 or 46, he for sure would have had a bigger offer. But absolutely as well, this team score a lot of points for sure, and that's what they've been doing here early in the season as well. Kurt's work at quarterback is really good for them as well. So definitely a small school quarterback. You see some of these guys, these small school quarterbacks. A lot of these guys from the Big Ten, a lot of these schools got guys from Ohio, where he played last year, New Hampshire, et cetera, et cetera. So they're scoring a lot of points. Maryland's offense has been scoring, though. So this is going to be a game with a lot of points as well. So definitely check that out on Saturday. I think it's at 12 o'clock. Definitely check that out, Big Ten Network, where Maryland goes against Indiana on Saturday. So definitely check that out as well. Definitely, once we get to the USC game, we'll take a little bit of a deeper dive into this. All right. So the season is almost over. So the regular season ends on Sunday, as we talked about it here. So let's talk about the MLB regular season awards, our version of it. These aren't official by any stretch, but these are our version of it as far as that goes. I don't know exactly what is going to happen, but let's just talk about the regular season awards here for the MLB here at the end. All right, and the awards here that we're going to go over here for the 2024 season. Now, these are not, again, official, but this is the way I see it, how a lot of these awards are going to go now that we're at the end of the season. Let's start with the American League MVP. I think early in the year you would have had Gunnar Henderson, but I think Aaron was there. I think he's not in it now. I think he kind of tailed off. I have Juan Soto third. I thought Soto was really good. I thought he's kind of stayed in third, though, all year. Offensive stats are off the charts. I mean, he's an excellent offensive player, excellent hitter. I thought the year that he had, it's funny, he got overshadowed by the one guy that's there, but he's going to be phenomenal. I mean, he's a phenomenal hitter. I mean, I think his average even came up in New York this year as well. So Juan Soto, I have him at third. Bobby Witt Jr. is going to probably win the batting title at the end of the year. Also, too, he's going to lead the league in triples, lead the league in hits. So I think almost in any other circumstance, he wins the MVP of the league. He's not going to this year because I'm going to go ahead and give it to Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is on another level. I mean, Aaron Judge is just reminds me a lot of Barry Bonds. Just whatever he wants to do, he does at the plate. 56 home run every year. He's going to play. He's going to hit over 50, over 40, whatever. Even years if he has injuries. The only thing injuries and age are going to stop him. he was just sensational, even with a bit of a slow start. Um, I still don't like him in center, but I think he's better than Soto. That's the only weakness in his game. But Judge, I think definitely AL MVP for that. Cy Young in the American League. I thought Burns was good most of the year. I thought Burns was really right there. These three were very close. Burns, I think, is third because of August. The numbers were a little bit high in August, but I think that's it. Other than that, I think he was terrific. He's going to probably finish with the ERA under 3 if he goes well in his last start. He's going to get 15. He's already got 15 wins. He can get 16 wins. So I thought Burns is right there. If it's selected, it doesn't really bother me. Neither one of these. Seth Lugo, I thought was kind of went under the radar nationally. He's been really good. I think he's been outstanding for them. I think one of the reasons for the Royals turnaround, you see it on offense. You talk about Bobby Witt, the pitching. You talk about Seth Lugo. I think Lugo has been terrific all season, but Tarek Subel is next level. I absolutely think he gets the sigh. There wasn't a bad anything with Tarek Subel. Dominant from start to finish, dominant competitive start, quality starts almost pretty much every start, or an outstanding start pretty much every start. I thought Subel is the reason why the Tigers got a lot better, and definitely you don't want to see him in the playoffs like as good as he's been this year. Dominant Tarek Subel as well. Manager of the year, Stephen Voigt. Still kind of thinking of him as a player. Like, just got him off the field. This is exactly what a manager you would think, like in the older traditional sense, even though they're kind of changing it. A player, kind of like a mid player. A lot of times a manager got higher. Guy like who came off the field, kind of like a player on the field. Had a year managing in as a coach in Seattle. Played for the A's, and now much better this year. I think with the change, Terry Francona was the manager there for so long with the Guardians. Now the manager of the Guardians, he's like third. Aaron Boone may surprise some people. That's a tough job in New York. I mean, the Yankees, I'm not a Yankee fan at all, but that's a tough job. I think Boone is a good manager. I thought they had to get better. I thought there was a lot of pressure there. They're not as talented as what people think. Obviously, you have Judge, you have Soto, you have some talent. But on offense, they've had to mix and match a lot. I really like what Aaron Boone has done there for them this year, so I have him at 2. But Matthew Quattro is going to be the manager of the year. The Royals were terrible like in recent years. He's actually been able to turn this thing around. He's actually been able to go ahead and turn this thing around. Here's a guy which you see kind of nowadays. Not a great major league player. He was a minor league manager for a very long time. Just kind of came to the majors in more recent years, maybe like 2-3 years as a man now, getting his first shot as a manager. So this is kind of what you're seeing now. 50 years old, older, been around a while. So yeah, so he gets the manager of the year. Best rookie. I don't know what everybody else is going to do. I'll put Mason Miller third. Mason Miller, I think, going forward is going to have a bright future. I don't know where the A's are. The A's looks like they're going to play in Sacramento next year. They are going to have Mason Miller. I thought there was some trade talk with him. I don't see any reason to trade him, frankly. I mean, unless you're really getting something. You want to keep something. Throws enormously hard. Luis Gil for the Yankees, I thought overall had a good year. Kind of struggled a bit at for one point. Kind of like it, but really good. I do think it's going to be Colton Cowser. I like Cowser here. Cowser, I think this guy, it was the best home run hitter of all the rookies. Look, we thought the Orioles would have the best rookie, didn't we? You didn't think this guy. Yeah, Jackson Holiday. Colton Cowser, I think it deserves it. Defensively, too, he's terrific. Love Colton Cowser on defense. He's definitely hit for power. Kind of worked his way in. Kind of took it right from Austin Hayes, too. And kind of worked his way into playing time. So good for him. I thought Cowser was the best rookie. National League. You know what? I never thought I would see this, where you go to the National League and you have 2 DHs in the top 5. We're a league where forever, no pitcher, pure baseball, blah blah blah. They introduced the DH, and now you have two guys in the top three. Um, as much as I almost tried not to have Marcell Ozuna in the top three, the numbers just, I mean, he was fantastic. The Braves were any good this season. He's the reason. He was the only guy they had from start to finish who was outstanding. Top five in home runs, RBIs, a lot of categories hitting. He definitely was the guy that was carrying them. A lot of their guys struggled, and Osuna was terrific as well in the DH spot. So I definitely have to put him in the top three. Willie Adams is for the Brewers. Brewers had a lot of challenges in the offseason. Burns kind of didn't want to be there. Had some questions as well. A lot of young players, and this guy was really good. So I definitely think I have him at two. But number one, yeah, Shohei. No question. No question. Couldn't even play the field. This guy, again, him and Judge are so far above everybody else. It's scary. It's scary what Ohtani can do. I can't wait to see him next season on the mound as well, or at least in the outfield. So shout out to Shohei Ohtani. No question about it. I thought Betts on his own team or Freeman might. Ohtani was fantastic. Cy Young. You might think Skeens is kind of weird. Skeens is just no question about it. Skeens, I think the only question is he can he keep his arm in good enough shape? But I thought Skeens was terrific. This guy's a strikeout machine. They cannot figure him out. I mean, he throws, 100 all the time. I mean, the slow stuff is in the mid 90s. So I definitely think Skeens is top three. Zach Wheeler, I thought, has been fantastic as usual for the Phillies. The Phillies have an excellent rotation. I think Wheeler is the best of the group, though. I think definitely to me, I think that's saying something too. They have with Nola and et cetera. But Wheeler, I thought, was really good this year. Sale, you're mad if you're the Red Sox. I've been saying that all year. They've been waiting for years to see Chris Sale to the point where they finally give up and he wins the Cy Young. I thought he was the best pitcher in the entire National League all season. Consistent. Definitely looked like the old Chris Sale. Definitely doesn't throw as hard as he used to, but definitely learned how to pitch. Outstanding stuff from Sale this year. I thought he was National League Cy Young winner. Manager of the year. Former manager, here's a guy who kind of strange how he left the Cardinals a few years ago. I thought that was a little strange that they even gave up on him and didn't have him there. But Mike Shildt, I thought the Padres were much better this year. I thought he did a good job for them as well. Former Cards manager, definitely a guy with some experience. So definitely there. I thought it was probably the right move of getting rid of Bob Melvin. I think Melvin left, so getting a guy who's a bit of a steadier hand. They kind of need that there as well. Carlos Mendoza is the guy with the Mets. I think New York is a tough job. I think New York is probably the toughest baseball city. I think in all sports, and I think the Mets and the Yankees. I thought Carlos Mendoza came in, did a good job. It's another guy. Bench coach a long time, played in the minors 13 years. Kind of what you're seeing now. Guys like this, who weren't great players, but played in the minors a long time or managing the minors a long time and coming up. Young guy, though, 44 years old, so he could be the manager for the Mets for many years. I thought the Mets definitely got better. They're getting in the playoffs. So shout out to Carlos Mendoza. Pat Murphy gets the Rookie of the Year. Gets the Manager of the Year, I thought, as well. Definitely wasn't a sexy hire, right? Craig Counsell walked out on him. The Mets, too. Mets thought they had a shot at Craig Counsell. Craig Counsell goes and takes another job. So they couldn't have been super happy about that. Look, here's a guy, Pat Murphy, 65 years old, and he had been a college baseball coach for over 20 years. So this is not a guy that was, wanted by a lot of teams. It definitely worked. Had trying circumstances. I definitely think he deserves manager of the year. Best rookie. I think if any of these three win, I think these are three probably farther away. Jackson Chirino for the Brewers, I thought had a lot of hype. I thought a lot of people thought he would win Rookie of the Year at the beginning of the year. I thought he was really good. I don't think from start to finish he was as good as Jackson Merrill. Merrill, I thought was the opening day center fielder for the Padres. I thought he was outstanding all season long for them. Definitely, as he got better, the team got better. So definitely he's going to be the future there. But I think Skeens, you could argue maybe the other two as far as playing a whole season, but Skeens is just so dominant. I don't see any reason why I can't give him Rookie of the Year for the National League. There you go. National League Rookie of the Year, all the awards. We will definitely see who actually wins the awards officially, but those are the Ravery Sports version. Those who, if I was voting, I would give it to these guys as far as the award. Orioles report. All right, so Orioles report. This is our last one of the regular season. So the next one is going to be playoffs as we are in the playoffs. So the Orioles are in the playoffs this year. So definitely, let's even start with that. At 7, let's start with that. So the Orioles defeat the New York Yankees, and a roar erupted visiting Yankee clubhouse, saying there definitely was a celebration as the Orioles actually go ahead and get into the playoffs for 2024. So they're in. So definitely the Orioles are going to the playoffs. Still don't know yet who they are going to be playing. Wild card. They did win. Let's talk about that. They did lose 2-3 to the Tigers, win the first two at the Yankees, won last night's game 9-7 over the New York Yankees. So they're in. I don't think there's definitely no question about it as well. Eflin, I think in the last game, I think it was like 4.5, 4 2/3. So he didn't get credit for the win. But they were really, I thought, good time to play good. I think the Yankees may be their foot off the gas. I don't care. They're winning this one. So to win the first 2 out of 3. Who is hot? Bats? Better. Better. I was really criticizing the Bats the last podcast. Better this week. Gunnar, I think, has been fantastic all year. He has won the version of the most valuable Oriole. Shout out to Gunnar, actually winning most valuable Oriole. He has been hot lately. Ryan O'Hearn has been hot. He's been on both lists a lot. Ryan O'Hearn, good this week, and then he's bad. Good this week, and then he's bad. Yadier Cano has been fantastic lately. I think he's probably in September looked more like the 2023 version than I saw all of this year. So he's been really good down the stretch. Who's not? Jackson Holiday. I question how much he's even going to play going forward down the stretch. They had Westberg at second tonight. I think they may leave it like that in the playoffs. Go with Westberg at second and Urias at third. He's really kind of struggled. So has Heston Kjerstad down the stretch. I think Kjerstad will play more, but he's been inconsistent here down the stretch. They are rookies. I still think they have a bright future. Khalil Perez, up and down, man. Up and down, man. Great stuff, man. You got to be more consistent. Up and down. He's not like O'Hearn. I've seen him on both lists. Like a lot of this with those guys. Yamon Urias, we just talked about it, is reinstated from the 10-day DL. Jordan Westberg is reinstated, 10-day DL. Daniel Johnson was optioned to minor leagues along with Vaughn Soto, optioned to Norfolk as corresponding moves. The Mount, Brian Mountcastle back. Calvary is coming as far as that goes. So he's in there. He's going to play a lot, obviously, down the stretch. Optioned Eloy Jimenez to Norfolk. That surprised some people. They had to option somebody. I thought the Illinois man trade was a weird one. I know this. He can hit. I don't think there's any question about it whether he can hit. He can hit. You can put him in a DH. I don't know how much you can play him because he's the slowest runner I've ever seen. Like just super slow. Can't really play the field. He can hit. There's no question about it. I just don't know if you need a guy like I think if you needed a guy like that, but you got a couple guys like that. You got Mayo at first. They're gonna try. You got Mountie. You got O'Hearn. So I don't know how much you play a guy like that though. And it's official. Craig Kimbrell given his outright release after he was DFA'd last week as well. Bad news: Grayson getting shut down for the rest of this year, getting him ready for 2025. Not a shock. News has not been good. I think they were just kind of hoping that they would have him. I think the best case scenario they were kind of hoping for is maybe you get out of the first round and then you get him in the ALCS or a World Series or something like that. But they're not going to have him at all. It definitely does not look like that having. As far as that goes, Minnesota Twins is the last series this weekend. So definitely we're going to be covering that as well. So the Twins last week, they're fighting to get in. May see the Twins in the first round here as well. You never know. We will go ahead on Sunday when we're here and do that. Find out. Colton Cowser, Player of the Week. I thought Cowser has been terrific down the stretch. Look, I think he's probably been their third best going forward. I think obviously Santander has been hitting the home runs. Gunnar has been fantastic. They've had some struggles. The bats are kind of warming. Cowser, I think, should win Rookie of the Year. I think he's been fantastic for him. I gave him Player of the Week. All right. Thank you very much for taking your time with us today. Change the time on you. All right. So enjoy all the games. Enjoy the Oriole game tonight. Thank you very much for joining us here for the Ravery Sports podcast. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy all the games.